What's going on, Johnny K Studios family? Welcome to the very first episode of Sunday Vibes with Johnny. And today we'll be talking about why I still love cartoons, still to this day. Why I love cartoons, why I love animated films, as some of you would say. Why I still love and enjoy watching animation. Let's get into today's topic. Now, if I were to go back, my early memory dates back until somewhere around 2008 and 2009 from there. So I didn't have any much animated series content when I was young, because back in the day some would use DVDs, some would use cassettes. So I had a cassette for Mr. Bean, and I loved watching it over and over and over and over again, But by the time 2010 hit, me and my family, we moved to Vodacom Tower, or some of us we call it Ponte. And by that time DSTV was dominating. Like in DSTV in its early years, you had to be blessed if you had DSTV. So we were blessed and privileged to have DSTV. By the time we got DSTV, and by the time we chose the premium version with all channels, it was a whole new world. It was a whole new world. So we had all the channels. For me, by that time we had Cartoon Network, Boomerang, Disney Channel, Disney XD, Nickelodeon, BBC Kids. I forgot what was 307, but 308 was Kids Co. And to us, the OGs, we all remember Kids Co. and Disney Junior. For me, my favorite two channels were Cartoon Network and Disney Junior. Those were my two favorite. Oh, sorry. It was Cartoon Network, Kids Co, and Disney Junior. For me, these three channels were the big three. On Cartoon Network, we had shows like Total Drama, Young Justice, Batman the Brave and the Bold, Green Lantern, the animated series, Cow and Chicken, Camp Lazlo, Amazing World of Gumball, Adventure Time, Regular Show. We had all these amazing shows. We all had these amazing shows. Kids Co, I don't remember much, but I do remember this show of this boy and this dog and this talking dog. That was the only show that I remember. On Disney Junior, obviously we had Mickey Mouse, we had Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, we had Django Junction. All of us know, we all remember that Django Junction had one of the craziest, and the opening was just a banger. We all remember this song. We all remember this song. So Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Django Junction, and some I don't remember, but those were the two well-known shows I used to play. And I was drawn into this universe of amazingness of a great cartoon media. It was just amazing, honestly. And it held a very special place in my heart. Watching Chris McClain torture the contestants, I was at the edge of my seat. I'm like, oh, who's gonna get eliminated? In Batman the Brave and the Bold, you see Batman. Sometimes you team up with Robin, or sometimes you team up with Aquaman, or Superman, or Plastic Man. Obviously, unfortunately, Plastic Man is seen as useless, as the most useless superhero. But guys, let's give him some credit. Let's just give him some credit. I found him a very interesting superhero. But yeah, let's stick to the main point. So I would sometimes see Batman going on these crazy adventures. Sometimes he would be at a savannah beating this other gorilla. Sometimes he would be facing Joker. Sometimes we would see him going on these crazy adventures, taking down the bad guys as usual. For me, it was like, mission accomplished. We were like, mission accomplished. Well, Batman, I'll see you next time for the next mission. Or it shows like Camp Lazlo. Obviously, it's just like you were there. You were there at the camp. You would see what the other characters were doing. You would see what they would get into, what they would get themselves to. Or Cow and Chicken. The opening scene. Sometimes you dance along with Cow and Chicken. But but as a child, guys, I am not gonna lie to you, Cow and Chicken, I found that show bizarre. Like there was always bums everywhere, guys. You see that devil? That devil, like that devil and his bums. Guys. I was like, ish, why are they bums everywhere? Like as a child, I was like, why are they showing us their bums? We don't care about your bums. We care about the episode. We're not here to see your bums, you know. And I also found it weird that Cow and Chicken were related. I was like, how is that possible? Because she's a cow and he's a chicken, and your parents are humans. But of course, as a young child, we did not know this thing called adoptive kids. You know, we didn't know this thing of you can adopt children. We thought came from your mom and your dad. You know, biologically, but you know, you learn as you grow. And shows like Young Justice. Oh, I loved Young Justice as a child, but I wasn't like watching it consistently because with Young Justice it was more mature, and it was also like, you see, the storyline was focused. It went one way, because with me, I was used to filler. Like if something happened in this episode, it wasn't going to be related to the next episode. What happened in this episode, we move on from it, we jump into the next episode. Sometimes you'd see, they'll say, do you remember what we used to do back then? Or then you as a child, you'd be like, oh, okay, I totally understand, I totally remember. Yeah, that was what we used to get. Well, at least in my opinion, that's what I used to get, you know. So Young Justice, I was pretty inconsistent with it. I would watch some episodes here and there, but I still loved it. One of my favorite superheroes was Superboy. I loved Superboy as a child, and I still do, still to this day. And shows like The Amazing World of Gumball. Oh, I know, The Amazing World of Gumball. You see, for me personally, these were the big shows. Regular Show, The Amazing World of Gumball, Adventure Time, and Johnny Test. These were the big four. They were the big four. These were the biggest. These four cartoons were the biggest. Obviously, Steven Universe was still on the way. You know, it was still on the way because in the United States it aired in 2013, but in South Africa in 2014. Same with Clarence. And I just loved these shows, you know, and you see, for all of us, we all remember this theme song for Johnny Test. We all remember this. Also for Adventure Time, Regular Show, and also The Amazing World of Gumball. Like every time these songs would play, like, oh, I was so happy, you know. I was so happy. I would sit down, I'll be like, ooh, what do we have here? Mordecai and Rigby trying to find a good excuse to not get fired from Benson. The Amazing World of Gumball and his lovable sidekick, but also adoptive brother Darwin. They would like go to school, maybe interact with their friends, and sometimes they would go on wacky adventures, and sometimes they'll just make you laugh. Like one of my favorite episodes of The Amazing World of Gumball was when Richard took out money from the cash register, and then Larry was like, "No, we're doomed!" And the camera would always zoom in and zoom out. Like that thing was just so funny. For me, honestly. Like it was just so funny. Like honestly, it was just so funny, and I loved it. And I couldn't stop laughing. Like, and then Richard was like, "Who's coming?" And then Larry would be like, the manager. Like episodes like that were so funny. Like, and also in that episode where Benson was like, "Ring ring, hello, what's that? Mordecai and Rigby are banned from using the house phone. Oh right." Then he started breaking the house phone. Like, I know, that thing was so funny. That episode for Joe Mama. No. I was also laughing. Like, I was also laughing. And you know, those jokes now, it was just something they would watch on the internet, and then they would make it in their own way and start pranking. It wasn't like something you had to go and use your critical thinking skills to think. No, they just learned something from the internet and then they turned it into their own version. And my goodness, The like regular show had banger songs. Like you had songs like Mississippi. You had songs like Mississippi Queen. You had songs like The Touch. You had uh Footloose. Like regular show had banger songs. Like every I would always vibe with them. Like these songs were amazing. Like yo. And also with Johnny Test, like every time Johnny has a problem with something, he would go to his sisters, tell them he has a problem, then they'll be like, okay, we will help you with your problem. In exchange, you be our test subject. And I mean, it's literally one of the lyrics in the opening, you know. Also with Adventure Time, like you'd see Finn and Jake going on these amazing adventures, and obviously the most typical one, if Ice King would harass the princesses, obviously Finn and Jake up to the rescue, they'll come and beat him up. One of these funny episodes, and one and one of my friends, Kelvin says, like, he always tells me, I pro you're silly, Ice King is just lonely. I would always make fun of Ice King when he would always go, I'm so alone. And he was always like, why would anybody tell me what's wrong with me? Anybody? I always found that funny. But growing up and learning about the backstory of Ice King, we knew him as Simon, and we began to see that the crown made him go mad, and that's why his girlfriend left him. And yeah, it's pretty harsh. It's pretty painful enough. And as the years went by, in 2014, which I will do a future video on why 2014 was like the worst year of my life. I will do a future video on that. But 2014, honestly, I'm just gonna give you a preview. 2014 was the worst year of my life, both academically and also in my personal life. Obviously, I was made fun of. I was picked on, not physically but mentally. And also, nobody wanted to hang out with me. Nobody wanted to talk with me. People would just say, why are you so childish? Why are you so childish? Why are you so childish? And I was called Papa Cartoon. And you see, it wasn't something like, it wasn't a name that, like Papa Cartoon, like this guy knows so much about cartoons. If you want to know more about a regular show, go to him. If you want to know more about Gumball, go to him. It was an insult. They were making fun of me, and also you might think your parents, if you tell your parents about this, they'll be like, okay, no son, look, don't listen to them. You just watch what makes you happy, Nah, no. That one is only we only see those kinds of things in American television. If you're an African, no. They'll just say, hey, Baba, work hard. School is the future, as my mom would always say. School is the future. School is the future. School is the future. I never had real friends. I never had a buddy who would always come and cheer me up. From if I had a bad day at school, he would say, dude, just ignore them, bro. At least you got us. We are your real friends. I never had a buddy where after school I knew me and him or me and her would sit down, would watch our favorite shows, because like by that time my mom was very generous. Sometimes she would let me and my friends come into the house and watch, but other times if she's watching politics, then I would have to go to their house to hang out, but they didn't have DSTV. So yeah, I never had any friends where I would come, sit down, would have a chat, and he would cheer me up. I never had a friend who would always comfort me. I never had a friend who would give me advice. I never had a friend where we would talk about the show, about cartoons, and wrestling, drawing, So I never had anybody, but that's where cartoons came in. Cartoons for me, it was a place where I was not judged. It was a place where I could express myself. It was a place where I was welcomed, I wasn't like preached upon, it wasn't something like I just loved watching cartoons as a child. But of course, schoolmates, they said otherwise. They just wanted to act like a bunch of mature people to impress the grade sevens. But like I said earlier, that's a topic for another day. I will make that video. Maybe you might see it next Sunday or in 2 weeks time. But we'll just stay tuned and keep watching. So that's why I love animation so much, because it has really helped me personally to go through some tough times. Like watching cartoons, I would always get cheered up, and especially when new episodes of Teen Titans Go would play. I knew the exact time. I was just so happy. And especially with Clarence. Clarence will always be one of my favorite characters because I could see myself in him, Like I just love how Clarence, like, he's so weird, but he doesn't get bothered by it. But there was this one episode from Clarence where Clarence, like, it's like he turned to the dark side, and like I could relate to that, that was me when I repeated grade 3. Like I was a bully. Like I would bully little kids. But something for another day. And like I was like, whoa, but deep down, even I was like, Clarence, man, this isn't you, man. Go back to that lovable weird kid. We all love you, man. We love you the way you are, man. And like they were just, it was also, and especially shows like We Bare Bears, once again, banger opening, even with Clarence, banger opening. Like these animators knew how to create banger songs. Unlike today, we can create AI music like this.
Why did you leave me? Baby, a piece of treasure, mama, tastes like jam.
But anyway, yeah, and like you see, but then what I also loved about animation, as long as, and also when I grew up, as I was growing up, I began to notice like animators were not afraid to talk about dark topics. They would go on they would talk about deeper things. Like in Batman the Brave and the Bold, we got to see a glimpse of the death of Batman when he lost his parents at a young age. In Batman the Brave and the Bold, they would just walk into this alley. Bruce Wayne, him, his mom, and his dad, they walked into this alley. We just hear gunshots. Then, and I was like, so they killed his parents, And in shows in Teen Titans Go, like obviously it doesn't shy away from loneliness, and especially from Robin. And you see, I could relate from Robin, like being made fun of. That one I could totally relate to it. I can totally relate with Robin, even though there were some episodes where this guy was just being boring, but I could relate with him, and that's why I love cartoons, It's like you are there with them. Sometimes sometimes you just get so angry, like you'll be like, Robin, why did you do that? Or you'll be like, come on, Batman, why did you make that mistake? And the parts where animations where you would cry, I remember watching with this other woman back in 2013, The Lion King. We both cried when Mufasa died, And now I know some of you'll be like, yo. But me and her, we both cried. You see, like cartoons, like it isn't something, this thing is just for kids. No, even you as an adult, you can be touched. Even you as an adult, you can be touched by animation. Like a couple days ago, like my friend recommended me this anime called Your Lie in April. Like that show, it was so depressing. It was just sad. And yo. Like guys, after watching that anime, I felt hopeless. I felt empty, you know. Then I was like, you know what? Let me just go watch Bleach. Let me go see what Ichigo is up to. Let me see what him and Renji are up to. I was like, let me just let me clear my mind. You see, do you see how animation can touch someone? And it doesn't matter if you are in your 50s or you're in your 20s, animation will touch you. And I don't care if you are a child, if you are 10 years, you prefer to watch news. Don't be like Jaden Smith. Oh, Jaden Smith's when he was young, he said, he didn't like his friends because they were childish. He preferred to talk about the economy. Guys, you mean to tell me when you were a child you cared about the economy? You mean to tell me when you were a child you care about unemployment? You mean to tell me when you were a child you cared about politics? Get out of here. So if you're a child, and if you're a child, or if maybe you are in your teens, my advice to you is that if someone calls you childish, embrace it. Embrace it. Do not let them ruin your childhood. Because by the time you grow up, by the time you keep growing, you're gonna see the harshness of this world. You're gonna see the darkness of this world. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I have to say about animation. Like, I love cartoons still to this day, but not your Baby Shark or Coco Melon. Those ones are for babies. But yeah, that's why I love animation. That's why I'm still to this day, if I can find a good show, a good animated film or series, I would watch it, you know. But anyway, that's all I have to say about animation. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys made it to the end, thank you so much for everything. Please be sure to like, share, comment if you found my story nice or enjoyable. Not nice, but enjoyable. And subscribe if you're new. So guys, thank you guys for watching until the end. I really appreciate it if you made it to the end. Thank you so much. God bless, and have a good Sunday.